Welcome back to RV News, your number one source for breaking updates, exclusive insights and in-depth analysis on the Iraqi Dinar, Vietnamese Dong, and everything related to the global currency reset. If you're holding IQD or VND, or simply following the journey to financial revaluation, you've come to the right place. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment of this unfolding financial transformation. Today, we're diving deep into what may be the most important development yet in the revaluation story. Its official signs are pointing to the reality that the RV has indeed started. Yes, you heard that right. The long-awaited revaluation of the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong appears to be underway, and major banks are now making moves faster than ever before. The past week alone, we've seen a dramatic shift in tone from financial institutions, currency exchange departments, and insiders within global financial markets. What was once whispered in private conversations is now surfacing in public. Multiple sources, including bank employees, financial analysts, and even policy advisors, are now pointing to key indicators that suggest the revaluation process is in motion. And more significantly, banks are not just aware of what's coming, they are actively preparing for it. There are reports of internal memos, training sessions, and even systems being updated across major banking institutions to handle an influx of currency holders looking to exchange their dinar and dong. Let's talk about the Iraqi dinar. For years, speculation has swirled around the idea that Iraq would eventually reinstate its currency to reflect its true value on the global market. With Iraq's vast oil reserves, growing regional influence, and increasing economic stability, many analysts have argued that the current suppressed rate of the dinar simply doesn't make sense. And now, there are tangible movements that cannot be ignored. We're hearing from contacts within the Middle East, as well as US military and diplomatic sources, that Iraq is in the final stages of economic alignment with the international financial system. Currency reform laws have been finalized, and major contracts, especially those involving oil, gas, and infrastructure, are being renegotiated based on a new exchange rate paradigm. One of the biggest developments that broke just this morning involves a major US bank, an institution with a long history of global currency exchange. A verified source inside their corporate operations center has revealed that a new IQD rate has been placed into their internal systems, marked as active pending release. This status means the rate is already loaded, but not yet visible, to the general public. Bank employees were told to be on alert for Tier 4B exchanges, referring to the group of private individuals who hold IQD and VND and are expected to be allowed to exchange under preferred rates. While no exact numbers have been confirmed yet, whispers around this internal bank memo suggest the new IQD rate could fall between $3.41 and $4.81, aligning closely with pre-2003 levels before the currency collapsed during the Iraq War. Now let's shift focus to the Vietnamese Dong. Often considered the sleeper currency in this entire revaluation story, the VND has consistently shown strong signs of future appreciation. Vietnam is a rising economic powerhouse in Southeast Asia. It has a stable manufacturing base, growing GDP, increasing foreign investment, and improving trade partnerships. Recently, the Vietnamese government has taken calculated steps to stabilize the dong while making it more internationally accessible. Quiet meetings have been taking place between Vietnamese central bank officials and international monetary advisors. Word is that Vietnam is looking to move toward a managed float, which would allow the dong to gradually adjust in value, potentially triggering a significant upward revaluation. And it's not just talk. We've now received confirmation from two separate banking sources, one in Canada and one in Europe, that new VND rates have also been loaded into banking systems. In both cases, the rate was shown as live pending public release, with one European banker claiming the internal rate displayed was just under 0.47 USD. If this proves accurate, we are looking at a dramatic increase from the current public exchange rate of approximately 23,000 VND per USD. This could have enormous implications for holders of the Vietnamese Dong, many of whom have been waiting patiently for this opportunity. Perhaps What's most fascinating about this entire development is the timing. Why now? Why are the banks suddenly preparing so quickly? One possibility is geopolitical alignment. Iraq has recently finalized several deals with international partners, including the IMF and World Bank, to restructure its economy and fulfill its obligations under international agreements. At the same time, Vietnam has entered a strategic, economic partnership with the United States, reinforcing its position as a key regional player. The global financial community may finally be aligned in a way that supports a simultaneous or near-simultaneous revaluation of both currencies. There's also a growing sentiment among economists that the global financial system is overdue for a realignment. Inflationary pressure, mounting sovereign debt, and the weakening of fiat currencies have created a need for asset-backed or resource-supported financial mechanisms. In this environment, currencies like the IQD and VND, supported by real-world assets such as oil and export production, are increasingly attractive as alternatives or complements to traditional reserve currencies. Some financial insiders believe we are on the cusp of a historic shift that could lead to a basket of global currencies, each representing different regions and backed by tangible economic value, replacing the dollar's dominance in international trade. Now, if you're wondering how this all affects you directly, here's where it gets real. Bank managers and wealth advisors are telling select clients to be prepared. Some are even going so far as to schedule preliminary appointments for potential exchanges, though nothing official has been confirmed. If you're a holder of IQD or VND, this is the time to make sure all your documentation is in order. That means having proof of purchase, receipts, certificates of authenticity, and any compliance forms your bank may require. More importantly, begin reviewing your exchange options. Will you go through a Tier 1 bank? Will you wait for redemption centers to be activated? Do you have a financial plan in place for post-exchange life? Another crucial development is the chatter around contract rates. While not available to the general public, contract rates are reportedly being discussed behind closed doors for certain private groups, government contractors, and humanitarian project leaders. These rates, particularly for the IQD, could be significantly higher than public rates, potentially exceeding $5 or more per dinar. Several currency community insiders are saying that select Tier 4B individuals might also gain access to these special rates, provided they have structured plans or ties to approved charitable projects. The idea here is to channel some of the wealth from revaluation into rebuilding efforts, global aid, and economic transformation. Interestingly, multiple redemption centers across the US have reportedly been staffed and quietly tested over the past 72 hours. These centers, designed specifically for high-volume currency exchange, are said to include biometric verification, NDAs, private wealth management services, and immediate disbursement of funds. While these reports have yet to be publicly confirmed by banks, several individuals claim to have driven by locations known to be set up as part of these operations, noting increased security and unusual activity at otherwise quiet facilities. And then there's the digital integration piece. Blockchain technology is increasingly being woven into this RV process. The idea is to use secure, transparent ledger systems to track transactions, authenticate currency legitimacy, and ensure fair conversions. Banks are exploring how to utilize tokenization, AI fraud detection, and smart contracts in real time during the exchange process. This level of security not only benefits the banks, but also reassures those participating that their assets are being handled with integrity. Of course, with all this exciting news, it's essential to remain grounded. The RV journey has been filled with rumors, false starts, and manipulated narratives. That's why we always emphasize verifying information and proceeding with caution. But even the most skeptical observers are beginning to admit something big is happening. The convergence of policy changes, system updates, and insider confirmations is unlike anything we've seen in over a decade of following this movement. For those who have been holding on to the IQD or VND, this could very well be the moment you've been waiting for. But with that opportunity comes responsibility. Make sure you protect your assets. Don't fall for scams. Work only with trusted financial professionals. Be wary of anyone asking for upfront fees, personal information, or pushing. High-pressure deadlines. The RV is about empowerment, not exploitation.